And now I'm going to turn it over to Alpa. Alpa is the Connect coordinator, and she's a runner, a real runner, as opposed to me, which is a fast walker. Alpa, it's up to you.
Thank you, Pat. I am going to just say that I am also a fast walker. I have never ran before I started running for Duchenne. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Good morning, everyone. I was so looking forward to meet the families in person, as this is our first year in Georgia. My name is Alpa Krishalani, and I live in Peachtree, Georgia area, south of Atlanta, with my husband Vishal and 3 boys, Krishna, who's 12 years old and has DMD, and we have 2 unaffected sons, Ishan, who's 8 years old, and Vihan, he's 5. Krishna was diagnosed in 2014 in Chicago, where we lived before, and, the importance of being at a CDC, I realized then that we were diagnosed and got care at Lurie Children's for the last 5 years until we moved here. Kaylin, can we move to the next one, please? Thank you. Okay. I was directed to PPMD by Dr. Coons, who was the neurologist that diagnosed Krishna. And, all of us obviously remember our diagnosis day very well. And the first thing I did was write to PPMD, and I got a call right back from Ryan. And it was actually the week when the Disney Marathon was happening. I mean, that's a busy week at PPMD. And I got a call from Ryan then. And I can never forget what that call meant to me at that point in time when we were just newly diagnosed. And we had to get our other boys tested and all the rest of it. Since then, many DMD moms have helped me through the journey as we all make all these decisions for our kids. It is one place where we can be with those who just understand without us having to say anything and who have walked the path. So that's where PPMD Connect became an important part of me. I was a Connect coordinator in Chicago, and, the love that I got from the families that have been doing this, from all the amazing moms and dads who've been Connect coordinators, grandparents too. It's been overwhelming, and it's been, an opportunity that I'm thankful I get to share with you all now. So PPMD Connect, as Pat already said, is our official outreach program. The best way, with social media being rampant now, is we have our Facebook pages, connect through that. The 3 key goals we have is mainly family mentoring. When you are newly diagnosed, you enter a world which is a big unknown. You've never heard of Duchenne, most likely, when the diagnosis comes in, just like us. So our goal is to really help you through the diagnosis and connect you with some of the experts. We are so fortunate in our region and on this call today that we have Dr. Fan, who runs an amazing research clinic here in Atlanta and is trying to bring every possible trial that is going to benefit our community into this region. We have Dr. Lochner on the call with us today too, who is an endocrine at CHOA and is helping, keep our boys healthy. So, we'll hear from them. But my goal is to help connect with some of these key specialists in this region, and then, outreach opportunities. I'm sorry if you see me putting it a lot on Facebook, but just as Pat said, it is extremely important that we put our voice out there. In Georgia, Medicaid and other things are big issues. We have to put our voice out there to ensure that as these drugs become available, that we are able to access them. And even before they become available, we are able to ensure that funding is there to do the research, and our congressmen support us with that. And lastly, fundraising. It is in some way we feel like when I started this, it just made me feel that this is my little contribution that we can make to move the needle. So we'll talk a little bit more about one of the events that we plan to do this year in the upcoming slides. Kaylin, we can move to the next one, please. This is just us. This is me with Krishna, my 12-year-old son. The last vacation we could take to Punta Cana before we're all in lockdown mode. So I'm glad we were able to do this. And this is Jessica. She lives in Augusta, Georgia. She has been the Connect coordinator here for a couple of years. Hopefully some of you have had a chance to interact with her. Her son Marky is 8. He receives Exondys at 51 at home infusions. And my son Krishna is in a clinical trial with Dr. Fan where we are on the 45 skipping drug. So if you see us, this is just a quick picture for us. Next slide, please. All right. These pictures are some of the activities that, I've done in Chicago. I hope we can do some of these here. I totally understand that our region is very wide here with Georgia and South Carolina. So I think maybe a porch night kind of thing may possibly work, but these were some mom's night out, dad's night out. The picture that you see with all the kids with the balloons is, every year in my house on Duchenne Day, which is, 7th of September, I used to hold an ice cream social, and then everyone would come, would write their messages for End Duchenne, and we would, release balloons in the air. Very simple community thing, nothing much, nothing grand, but some of the things that helped us raise awareness. We hope to do family gathering this year once the coronavirus settles down. We hope to plan something again. This End Duchenne tour was going to be our information session. And I'm glad we are at least able to do it as a video, as a webinar today. So thank you all for joining. Next slide, please. This is us. In 2016, I sat in a room in Chicago when another Duchenne mom spoke about her journey of starting to run and fundraise for Duchenne. And, I have never been a runner, no athletics. I was one of those who would be the first people to choose maybe a scorekeeper or any other job on the field and not really be doing anything athletic. I was very artsy growing up. And I was scared to think about running. But, for the first year, I had my neighbors who supported me in saying, okay, let's do this. We'll help you run. So the Shamrock Shuffle in Chicago in 2017 was the first race I did. That was the first time I actually was able to even go out and talk about the diagnosis and create awareness. And then it was amazing to see that we had 30 runners and unbelievable community that just came out and supported us. And some of these pictures are, from our last race, which was in 2018 and 19. We couldn't do it because we were moving here. But all I can say is if you guys, anyone is interested in any kind of fundraising event, I'll tell you that the races are the easiest because you are not having to do much of a pre-planning. There is no setup, none of that involved. You get your team, you run, and it's just when I saw Krishna standing at the end of the line, like you see him, the picture up here on the top at the end Duchenne shirt, that's him. He stood there with his hand out, and as all the racers passed and they, gave him a handshake or patted him or any of it, it was just amazing to see him. And, it just gave him so much confidence that he's not alone and this is not something he needs to struggle with. And it meant a lot to our family, and I'm sure to everyone who participated. We are fortunate that this team kept growing and we had some amazing races, and we hope to continue that in Georgia. So that brings us to our next slide, which is we are signed up. PPMD is organizing. We're signed up at the Craft Classic Half Marathon and 5K here on September 12th, 2020. It's amazing. It also falls during the Duchenne Action Month, so it is the perfect time to get involved. It's a popular race here. People have enjoyed it in the past, and there's live music, great food. There's There's beer at the end of it. And for those who are starting out, 5K is perfect. And for those who are ambitious and want to get to marathons, half marathon is also amazing to give you that boost as you get ready for some of the big races happening after that, if anyone's going to Chicago or New York or anywhere. And there's a very small fundraising commitment. It's only $250 for 5K and half marathon at $500. We have our link here. Please join us. We are blessed that we have 3 teams already. Our team is another family that's going to run, and Dr. Fan's team has been amazing. We have a few half marathoners from the clinic, and if many of you go there, you're going to see all the faces you know. So thank you so much. We'll go to the last slide, which is how you can reach us. I'm hoping that all of you are on the Facebook PPMD Connect Georgia page. If you're not, please send me your information and we'll get you added. And you can always reach me directly by my email as well. So again, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And as soon as we get to a point where we can start planning activities and events, we hope that we can get our families together.
Thank you, Alpha. That was just really wonderful. And I totally agree with you, the 5K and having our young men at the sidelines where we can see them, touch them, well, not at the coronavirus, but in general, just wish them well and have them wish us well on a run is really pretty terrific.